What if the future of transportation isn't bigger SUVs or massive trucks, but tiny vehicles that can do more with less? From ultra-compact city cars and futuristic microcars to innovative machines designed to save space, energy, and money, these small vehicles are completely changing the way people move around the world. Some are built for crowded cities, some focus on efficiency, and a few of them honestly look like they came from the future. So today we're counting down 20 small cars that are changing transportation. VinFast VF3. At first glance, the VinFast VF3 looks like someone shrunk an SUV in the wash. Its upright stance, chunky wheel arches, and boxy proportions give it far more presence than you'd expect from a vehicle that's just over 3 meters long. And despite its size, this tiny EV packs a 43 horsepower motor, 110 newton meters of torque, and an 18 kilowatt-hour battery capable of delivering up to 210 kilometers of range. It can even recharge from 10 to 70% in about 36 minutes, making it surprisingly practical for everyday city life. The result is a vehicle that takes up very little space, while still feeling like a real car rather than a compromise. Honda N1E. Instead of trying to make a tiny EV look futuristic with wild styling, Honda went in the opposite direction. The N1E keeps its retro-inspired boxy shape, round headlights, and compact K-car proportions, making it look almost simple at first glance. But underneath that familiar design is a surprisingly modern city EV. Honda paired the car with a 29 kilowatt-hour battery and a 64 horsepower electric motor, giving it up to 295 kilometers of range, an impressive number for something this small. It also supports 50 kilowatt DC fast charging, allowing the battery to reach 80% in around 30 minutes, while features like V2L power outputs let the car run external devices when needed. What makes the N1E interesting isn't that it tries to feel like a luxury EV, it's that it proves a tiny city car can still be practical, efficient, and surprisingly capable in everyday life. Baojun Yep EV. The Baojun Yep looks like someone took a rugged off-road SUV and shrunk it down to city car size. Its boxy proportions, chunky fenders, and tiny footprint give it the personality of a miniature adventure vehicle, almost like an electric version of the Suzuki Jimny. And despite being just 3.3 meters long, the Yep packs a 68 horsepower rear-mounted electric motor, 140 newton meter of torque, and a 28 kilowatt-hour battery capable of delivering up to 303 kilometers of range. It also keeps a surprisingly practical 4-seat layout, while its upright design makes it much easier to maneuver through crowded urban streets. What makes the Yep interesting isn't raw performance. It's how much character, practicality, and EV efficiency Baojun managed to fit into something barely larger than a microcar. Toyota FT-Me. Most small city cars try to look practical. The Toyota FT-Me looks like it skipped straight to the future. With its jet helmet-inspired styling, black and white bodywork, and ultra-compact proportions, the FT-Me looks more like a personal mobility device than a traditional car. Toyota designed it specifically for crowded urban environments, keeping the vehicle under 2.5 meters long, while creating enough cabin space for 2 people. It also features a solar roof capable of adding up to 30 kilometers of extra driving range per day in ideal conditions, reducing the need for frequent charging. The lightweight electric platform is aimed at maximizing efficiency while taking up as little road and parking space as possible. Rather than trying to be a smaller version of a normal car, the FT-Me rethinks what city transportation could look like when space becomes the most valuable resource of all. Honda Super EV concept. Honda could have turned the Super EV concept into another cute city car. Instead, it looks like they wanted to make a tiny EV with actual personality. The widened stance, flared wheel arches, and compact hatchback proportions give it a much more aggressive look than most urban electric cars, almost like a pocket-sized performance machine. Honda hasn't revealed full technical specifications yet, but the company confirmed the Super EV is built as an A-segment electric vehicle focused on combining practicality with genuine driving enjoyment. It has already completed real-world testing in the UK, and Honda says the project is designed around delivering a more engaging and responsive driving experience than typical city-focused EVs. What makes the Super EV concept interesting isn't a giant battery or huge power figures. It's Honda's attempt to prove that small electric cars can still be fun, characterful, and something people actually want to drive. Wuling Binguo EV. For years, affordable city EVs were designed to be as simple and inexpensive as possible. The Wuling Binguo EV takes a very different approach. Instead of looking futuristic or rugged, it leans into a rounded retro design with smooth curves, chrome accents, and a surprisingly upscale appearance for a compact electric hatchback. Underneath that styling is a 50-kilowatt electric motor producing 67 horsepower, paired with battery options that deliver up to 410 kilometers of range. The Binguo also supports DC fast charging, allowing the battery to charge from 30% to 80% in around 35 minutes, while its compact dimensions still leave room for a practical 5-door layout. What makes the Binguo EV stand out isn't extreme performance or radical technology. It's how convincingly it turns a small, affordable EV into something that feels far more premium than its size suggests. Fiat 500e. The Fiat 500e doesn't try to reinvent the small city car. Instead, it takes one of the most recognizable compact cars ever made and quietly transforms it into a modern EV. From a distance, it still carries the classic rounded silhouette that made the original 500 famous. But underneath that familiar design is a much more advanced platform built for modern urban life. Depending on the version, the 500e uses a 117 horsepower electric motor paired with a 42 kilowatt-hour battery, delivering up to 320 kilometers of range. It can also charge from 0 to 80% in around 35 minutes using 85 kilowatt DC fast charging, while its compact dimensions make it perfectly suited for crowded city streets. What makes the 500e stand out is how little it sacrifices in character. Even as transportation becomes more electric and efficient, Fiat managed to keep the personality that made the tiny 500 iconic in the first place. Mitsubishi Delica Mini. The Mitsubishi Delica Mini almost looks like a tiny van pretending to be an SUV. Between the rugged body cladding, skid plate styling, raised stance, and upright proportions, it has more in common visually with an adventure vehicle than a typical K car. That personality isn't just for show either. Mitsubishi offers the Delica Mini with a 660 cubic centimeter turbocharged engine producing 64 horsepower and 100 newton meters of torque, alongside available all-wheel drive, grip control, and hill descent control, features that are extremely rare in a vehicle this small. What makes the Delica Mini interesting is that it solves city car problems without looking like a city car. Instead of emphasizing efficiency or futuristic styling, Mitsubishi gave this tiny vehicle the attitude of a miniature expedition machine. Leapmotor T03. The Leapmotor T03 answers a question most car companies spent years ignoring. What if an affordable city EV didn't feel cheap? From the outside, it looks small and friendly, almost toy-like. But inside, Leapmotor packed the T03 with technology that normally belongs in much more expensive vehicles. The car uses a 70 kilowatt electric motor, producing 95 horsepower, paired with a 37 kilowatt-hour battery, capable of delivering up to 395 kilometers of range. It also includes features like a 10-inch central touchscreen, advanced driver assistance systems, and over-the-air software updates, things that are still missing from some larger vehicles. What makes the T03 important isn't that it's the fastest or most powerful small EV. It's that it shows how quickly compact electric cars are evolving from basic transportation into fully connected smart vehicles. Yamaha Tricera concept. The Yamaha Tricera concept almost looks like someone combined a sports car, a motorcycle, and a futuristic mobility pod into a single machine. Everything about it is unusual. The open-air cockpit, aggressive triangular bodywork, and exposed rear wheel give it a look that's closer to a sci-fi concept vehicle than a traditional city car. What makes it even more interesting is the engineering underneath. Yamaha designed the Tricera as a fully electric three-wheeler featuring an advanced three-wheel steering system, allowing all three wheels to turn for improved maneuverability and a much more dynamic driving experience. The rear wheel can also steer independently, helping create sharper cornering characteristics and a stronger connection between the driver and the vehicle. The Tricera isn't trying to solve transportation by being smaller or cheaper. Instead, it explores a completely different idea, that future urban vehicles might be designed around enjoyment just as much as efficiency. Smart Concept Number 2. The Smart Concept Number 2 doesn't look like a tiny city car trying to save space. It looks like a compact electric crossover that simply decided to shrink itself. Compared to older smart vehicles, the Concept Number 2 has a much wider stance, cleaner surfacing, and a more premium design language, making it feel closer to a futuristic urban SUV than a traditional microcar. Smart designed the concept around a compact EV platform while still targeting practical everyday usability. The vehicle measures roughly 4 meters in length, features a spacious 5-seat layout, and previews the production model that later became the Smart Number 1. What's interesting about the Concept Number 2 is that it reflects how small cars are evolving. Instead of asking drivers to compromise, it tries to deliver the design, technology, and practicality people expect from larger vehicles, just in a much smaller package. Wuling Air EV. The Wuling Air EV almost looks too small to be a real car. At just 2.97 meters long in its 2-seat version, it takes up barely more space than some motorcycles and can fit into parking spots that most cars wouldn't even attempt. But Wuling didn't build it as a novelty vehicle. The Air EV uses a 30-kilowatt electric motor producing 40 horsepower, paired with battery options that deliver up to 300 kilometers of CLTC-rated range. It also packs a surprisingly modern cabin with dual digital displays and connected features, while its tall roof design helps maximize interior space despite the tiny footprint. What makes the Air EV important is how directly it responds to urban transportation problems. Instead of trying to shrink a normal car, Wuling designed something specifically around the realities of crowded cities, limited parking, and short daily commutes. BRABUS Ultimate E. The BRABUS Ultimate E is what happens when somebody looks at a tiny city EV and decides it should behave more like a pocket-sized sports car. At only 2.8 meters long, it's still based on the Smart EQ Fort Wu, but the widened body, massive 18-inch wheels, aggressive aero parts, and ultra-short wheelbase make it look far more extreme than a normal urban commuter. BRABUS upgraded the electric drivetrain to produce 92 horsepower and 180 newton-meters of torque, allowing the tiny two-seater to hit 130 kilometers per hour and sprint from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 11 seconds. It also keeps its compact 17 kilowatt-hour battery, delivering up to 125 kilometers of range depending on driving conditions. The fascinating part isn't the range or practicality, it's the idea that even the smallest electric city car can still have attitude, performance, and the kind of personality usually reserved for much larger machines. MG Maze. The MG Maze looks less like a car and more like a gaming console that somehow escaped into the real world. Instead of hiding its technology, the entire concept proudly shows it off. The transparent polycarbonate shell exposes components like the electric motors, cooling systems, and even the interchangeable battery pack, making the vehicle feel more like futuristic hardware than transportation. MG designed the Maze as a fully electric two-seater urban concept, featuring a vertically opening canopy, a joystick-style control system, and an immersive digital interface inspired by modern video games. The compact layout was built around maximizing agility in crowded cities, while smartphone-based controls replace many traditional vehicle functions. What makes the Maze fascinating isn't its performance figures. MG never revealed those. It's the idea that future city cars might feel more like interactive digital experiences than machines designed simply to get from one place to another. Honda NeuV. The Honda NeuV wasn't designed around horsepower, top speed, or even commuting. Honda started with a completely different idea. What if a car could actually make use of the 96% of time most vehicles spend parked? That's why the NeuV was created as a compact two-seat electric urban vehicle with the ability to function as an autonomous ride-sharing car when its owner isn't using it. It was also designed to sell electricity back to the grid during periods of high demand, effectively turning downtime into something productive. The vehicle itself remains extremely compact, with space for 2 passengers, rear cargo storage, and even an integrated electric last-mile scooter stored in the back for short trips after parking. What makes the NeuV memorable isn't its size or styling. It's the fact that Honda treated the car less like a vehicle and more like a smart mobility platform designed to work, learn, and even earn money when nobody is driving it. Chery EQ1. The Chery EQ1, also known as the Little Ant, proves that some of the biggest transportation ideas can come in extremely small packages. While most compact EVs focus purely on affordability, Chery approached the EQ1 more like a miniature technology platform, building it around a lightweight all-aluminum body structure that's uncommon in vehicles of this size. The latest versions use a 55-kilowatt electric motor, producing 75 horsepower, paired with a 40-kilowatt-hour battery, capable of delivering up to 408 kilometers of range. Despite measuring just over 3 meters long, the car also supports features like a large central touchscreen, connected services, and advanced driver assistance technology. What makes the EQ1 interesting is how much engineering is hidden beneath its playful appearance. It may look like a simple city car, but underneath, it's packed with technology normally associated with much larger and more expensive EVs. Moke Miami. The Moke Miami feels like a vehicle that completely ignores modern car design trends and somehow becomes more interesting because of it. There are no doors, no complicated body lines, no attempt to look aggressive or futuristic. Instead, it keeps the open-air beach buggy personality that made the original Moke famous decades ago. Beneath that retro design is a fully electric platform powered by a 44-horsepower motor and a 22-kilowatt-hour battery, delivering up to 80 miles of range and a top speed of around 50 miles per hour. The lightweight four-seater is also street legal in many urban and coastal areas, making it practical for short-distance transportation, while still feeling more like a recreational vehicle than a conventional car. What makes the Moke Miami stand out is that it doesn't try to solve transportation with technology alone. It focuses on something many modern vehicles forget entirely, making everyday movement feel fun, simple, and enjoyable. Roewe Clever. The Roewe Clever is one of those vehicles that makes a normal compact car suddenly seem much larger than necessary. With a length of just 3.14 meters, the two-door EV was designed almost entirely around urban efficiency, squeezing into crowded streets and tight parking spaces where larger vehicles become a problem. Despite its tiny footprint, Roewe equipped the Clever with a 37-kilowatt electric motor producing 50 horsepower and a 27-kilowatt-hour battery, allowing it to deliver up to 302 kilometers of range. It can also reach speeds of around 100 kilometers per hour, making it practical not only for city commutes, but also for longer suburban travel. What makes the Clever interesting is how unapologetically focused it is. Instead of trying to be everything at once, it concentrates on solving a very specific problem, moving people efficiently through increasingly crowded cities, while using as little space and energy as possible. Fox E-Mobility MIA 2.0. The Fox E-Mobility. MIA 2.0 feels like a vehicle designed by people who looked at crowded cities and decided the traditional car layout was wasting too much space. Instead of placing the driver on one side, the MIA 2.0 uses a central driving position, creating a more symmetrical cabin while maximizing room for passengers and cargo inside an extremely compact footprint. Fox E-Mobility planned multiple versions of the vehicle, including passenger and delivery variants, all built on a fully electric platform. The compact urban EV was designed to deliver up to 225 kilometers of range, support DC fast charging, and carry up to 3 occupants while remaining significantly smaller than conventional city cars. Its tall cabin and sliding side doors were also designed to improve accessibility in tight urban environments. What makes the MIA 2.0 interesting is that it treats urban transportation almost like architecture. Every part of the design focuses on making better use of limited space, showing how future city vehicles may become smaller on the outside while feeling surprisingly usable on the inside. And those were 20 small cars that are changing transportation. From ultra-compact city EVs and futuristic mobility concepts to clever urban vehicles that rethink how space, energy, and technology are used, these machines prove that the future of transportation isn't necessarily getting bigger. In many cases, it's getting smarter. Some focus on efficiency, some reinvent the city car, and a few of them challenge the very idea of what a car should be in the first place. As cities become more crowded and mobility continues to evolve, vehicles like these could play a much bigger role in how millions of people move every day. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to TechSift for more futuristic vehicles, breakthrough technology, and transportation innovations shaping the future. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.